Hey, YouTubers. I'm going to be on for about 20 minutes tonight, maybe give or take a couple. Um, Keeping in pattern with my very um, lowly viewed human interest stories, I want to talk about time, father time. It always comes back to um, remind us that money's not the most valuable commodity in life, time is. Because money you can replenish, you can make more of, you can have less of. But time is the one thing that's finite in our life, you know? Time is the time is the one thing in this life that we all have limited of. Nobody knows when our time is going to come, you know? I mean, whether or not God gives you 75, 80 years on this earth or 40 or 50, you don't know that. You have to make the most out of each and every day. You have to be careful with who you allow to come in and out of your life, you know? And you're going to miss people that meant a lot to you. I miss John Van Dyke very much, but we parted ways. You know, you don't look back. Pierce, my good friend. I love Pierce, but I know that right now, um the stuff I'm going through is too much for Pierce to handle, you know? And I have to go. New Year's Eve is still what? 2.5 months away, is to appreciate each and every second, you know? You know, um, I wanna appreciate every second that I have. I wanna say hello to my fans, Green Leader. How are things going down there in, don't tell me. It's Corbin City, right? You're at the very tip of it. I used to date a girl way, way back when, who was from, what's the town? It's right next to, Corbin City. Estelle Manor. It's a beautiful area out there. Oh, Folsom. Same difference. Folsom, Estelle, Corbin, the Atlantic County Ponds. It has a very special place in my heart, Atlantic County. People don't realize when you get outside of Atlantic City, it's a beautiful, beautiful area. It has a lot to offer, a lot of peace of mind. Now that I'm single and I'm planning a life for me only and not for a significant other, and it's very hard to think of things like that because you always think back and you always want to tell yourself, well, I could have done this different or I could have done that different. Um, and you always want to do better for everyone. And like, my mom's over here trying to feed me. No, mom, I want you to say hello to my audience. Come on, that's my mom.
Hi guys.
She's worried that I'm not eating enough, and I'm probably not, but I'm
You
trying
eat
to.
this.
Eh,
Just split it.
okay, sure. Put it in the oven. That makes you feel good. Okay, I'll eat it. But now that I'm planning a life just for me, I have to get where I can live in a place like Corbin or Folsom or Manahawkin, and I can live a happy life on my own. And I'm going to make the most out of each day that I have, whether or not that involves um, writing or reading or taking a run or watching a football game or basketball game. I'm going to enjoy every day that I have on earth. Every single day, I'm going to make the most of. Um, I feel, I do feel a sense of um, curiosity. You know, my beliefs in God are very paradoxical, at least on the surface. And a lot of people think that paradoxical means opposite. But what paradoxical actually means is it appears to be opposite, but at the end of two ideas. I'm waiting. Okay, so paradoxical means on the surface, the two ideas appear to be in conflict with each other or contradictory, but at the end of the day, the two ideas reconcile nicely. And my beliefs in God are like that. I believe in God. I believe in the Christian God, Jesus Christ. But, and there's a big but, I'm a very spiritual person. Um, Mind, I believe in peace of soul. Okay. And a big part of my belief system deals with how you cope with stressors. Um, and it's easier said than done because we all can't deal with stressors in the same way. I mean, if you have a lot of money and your marriage is on the rocks and you have 3, 4, 5 million, yeah, you can take a cruise. You can go off to Monaco or see all of Europe, Denmark, and England, and take your wife to go see a play at the original Shakespeare Theater. That'll buy you a couple years on the marriage, let me tell you. But if you're a person of working means, which I am right now, I have a very stable job, um, which is growing a little hard for me under the circumstances. Um, because I'm just, it's weird. But I have to I'm limited as to what I can do. Ultimately, in the next year, I would like to move back down to South Jersey, at least. There's a lot of chatter in my inner circles that I'm gonna eventually get my old position at Orlando or Orange County Legal Aid back, and I've contemplated it, and I'm very on the fence about it. Half of me says, okay, I'm going to take this position at Legal Aid back, but to me, that's living in the past. I'm going back to another chapter of my life and trying to recreate it. Um, there's a problem when you try and rewrite history, when you try and revise it. And there's a Stephen King movie that um, kind of album. It's called 11/22/63, and essentially, this guy named Jake Epping manages to go back in time to 1963, and Jake Epping manages to stop the Kennedy assassination. And then he teleports back into 2016, and he's like, "Wait a minute! I stopped the Kennedy assassination, went back in time and stopped it, and now 2016 isn't 2016 anymore because the chain of events of history have been altered." And that kind of pertains or applies to us as people. What happens when we try and go back and rewrite our past? Our future will be different because of it. And that's not always a good thing. I valued my 3 years in Orlando. I valued some of the struggles that I had in Orlando. I value the good times and the bad. Um, there was a girl who I met my first semester in Orlando, and her name was Whitney. And Whitney was from West Virginia. If I've ever met anybody in this world as kind or as sweet or as good natured as Whitney was. Um, but going into it, I was 27 years old, and we both kind of knew it was a fling. You know, we knew that it wasn't meant to last. We knew that it wasn't going to last. So we made the most of it, and we had a great time. And mind you, Orlando's a very transient city, which means people don't come there, or people come there for reasons, whether or not it's Disney. Lockheed Martin has a big plant there, or the military. That's why people come to Orlando. It's extremely transient. A lot of young actors and actresses go there. But Whitney was there. She didn't have family in the area. She was a high school chemistry teacher. I was a research assistant at the law school and an employee of legal aid and whatnot. And we got each other through February to June of 2016. And a conversation I had with Whitney. I was in Vermont for the first time, and I loved it. I was in Shelburne, Vermont, and I stayed at this little hotel called. It was a Days Inn, but it was the cleanest freaking hotel I've ever been in my life. And I called up Whitney and to tell her how much better things would be if she was there. And it was Memorial Day weekend, right around my 28th birthday. And you could tell by her voice, she was very, very touched. And I thought I might have seen her again. I thought that maybe I'd come back to Florida and who the heck knew? But I woke up the next morning and um we talked again. And I just at that point I got the sense in my gut that things were I set out to see, you know. But I'm doing a lot of thinking today about a lot of things. But time, father time is the precious commodity we only get once. Father time, you know? And I'm not going to waste a second more on this earth. You know, money is an obstacle. I make really good money right now, but I'm not in love with my job, you know? I don't love it. I do it because I have to do it. But teaching is where my heart is. I'm in love with the idea of shaping young minds, of doing what's best by them for the next generation. As much as the system allows you to these days. The constraints upon public school teachers don't really enable them or allow them to shape kids' futures. You're constantly under the thumb of the system. You can say this, but you can't say that. You can criticize this and teach this kid this lesson, but you can't necessarily say that. That's taboo. This is proper. And it's for 10 years that my biggest fear is people are going to avoid teaching. And that would be a real mistake. That would be a colossal mistake because teaching is a profession that we don't have enough good people in. There are plenty of lawyers in this world, probably too many. Not enough competent lawyers, but we have plenty of lawyers. Um, but we don't have enough good people that want to be public school teachers. And it's very upsetting to me that that's the case. I also think that a lot of from our K through 12 experience, like like various industrial arts classes and just the arts as a whole, is slowly diminishing in the state of New Jersey. I think that arts education is being placed to a back seat, and they're really pushing this STEM agenda for everything that they can. And it's not good. It's not good. Because when we lose grasp of our nature, of our humanity, we lose grasp of our path ahead into the future. Um, I am at a point, guys, where I don't know. I mean, in terms of my future, where it's going to take me. I really don't want to leave New Jersey. I don't want to leave. You know, if God sends me a sign that it's the right thing to do, or I reach the point where things aren't working out in New Jersey with the family, or between me and them, I'm gonna go back to Orlando. But it's not a top, not priority. It's not my first idea. I don't intend to do that first. Um, I'm still a little bit in pain. Um, I told you guys yesterday. I got news that a woman who I had spent what almost a year of my life with, and I loved through and last week. But we we didn't just break up. She left me for another man. because she felt that my point of view um, didn't really jive or didn't mesh well with that of her mother and her stepfather and and the one thing that I will never do in this life is I will never allow somebody else to control my point of view. I will never allow somebody else to control my point of view. I'm sorry, guys. I had to temporarily switch locations because my router signal wasn't good. I am at I'm with my folks right now, my mom, my stepdad. And my stepfather's a very unique man. We'll never really our personas have improved over time, but our worldviews will never come close to matching each other's. You know, um, I think that the longer that you know somebody, the harder that it is to rewrite your impression of them. I've known him for 22 years. He has a certain impression or um, a situational outlook of me in his mind, and I have one of him. And um, that's not going to change. But he's a very decent man at heart, and I'm happy to be here. They have a beautiful home. I don't have a bedroom here anymore. I haven't in what 10 years. Um, so right now I'm on the couch. Uh-oh. I guess my mom's cooking needs some work. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to try and fan the smoke alarms. Busy doing nothing. Not for long. You got that, Stace? I'm hungry. I shouldn't say that because she'll have the smorgasbord in here. Look at this house. Isn't it nice? I always tell myself when I have my own home again, I want the ceilings like they have. They have like arched ceilings. Their ceiling in their credenza or their walkway has to be about 85, 90 feet tall. It's amazing. And I'm grateful to be here and have my mom here. I mean, sometimes she's a bit much, to try and live with. Just a little bit. Let's see, I've lived with 3 women in my life. Full time. Nicole. We lived together for a year. Amy. Me and Amy lived together for about 4 months. We were together for 4 years, which is the even crazier thing. Yeah, me and Amy were together for 4 years. Whatever works. Thank you so much.
Pierre Water.
And at the end of the day, me and Angela, were together for 9 months. We lived together for 7, but that's another story. But I'm worried about that. I'm not worried about finding the one because all the girls in my life, I've all loved them with my heart. Some of them were more similar to me than others. Others understood me better. And because thank you so much, Mom. You really don't have to be doing this. She's trying to put on a good show because she knows I have 6 viewers right now. I'm joking. But I think the better that you understand somebody, the more positive light that you see them. And the easier it is for you to live with them. I understand people. Math, I understand. Engineering, I really don't understand. Mechanical stuff, it's not fair. I really wasn't exposed to a lot of mechanical stuff. I like to take on a project I like to screw around with like a toy drone and take it out to the park. But that's where it starts, stops, and ends. People are my forte. I got the gift of gab. I like to talk to people. I don't have a whole lot of energy right now. I'm depleted because I'm in that post breakup phase. I'm not really eating well. Um, I'm not sleeping well, but that'll change. I mean, it's gonna suck this year because Christmas is what 2.5 months away, and I don't want to be in this situation at Christmas. I want to have enough money to my name that I can take off. Green leader. I live with 5 constantly fighting females. You have 4 daughters, Green leader? God bless. Hey, at least you're out there in Folsom. You got a nice tract of land. It's not like the neighbors are ass to ass and they can hear you fighting, right? No. What's weird is we all get different vibes. Even people who don't believe in vibes still get them. Okay. And in my case, all right, um, in my particular case, the vibes that I get have constantly, since I've been home from Florida, have constantly led me to Smithville, New Jersey, and Manahawkin. That area, exit 47 to 63. New Gretna. New Gretna is not populous enough to really live for me. I want to be within 15 minutes of a Target or yeah. That's the other thing that's kind of tough about South Jersey. Aside from ShopRite, your um, grocery options are few and far between. But what I will say is this: ShopRite is doing a 180, a real 180. Their stuff has gotten to be a much, much, much better quality than what it was years ago. And they're almost at the point where they can compete with places like Trader Joe's and Wegmans and this and that. And used to think that Trader Joe's was a fancy place. Believe it or not, Trader Joe's used to be known because their stuff was cheap. You go in there nowadays, I mean, when I was staying with my aunt in Bound Brook on the Bridgewater border 2, 3 weeks ago, they have a new Trader Joe's in the Bridgewater shopping center. And I went in there because they have great stuff in the fall. They have pumpkin spice pancake mix, they have pumpkin spice coffee, they have maple glazed donuts, and all the fall goodies. Butternut squash, which I usually like to cook. But this fall has been hell and back, so I really haven't bothered much. Um, but Trader Joe's prices aren't what they used to be. You used to be able to go in there, fill up a shopping cart, and get out for like $60. And I'm not even talking about 10 years ago. I mean, 3 years ago, you could do that. But their prices have constantly been in flux. And I was talking to somebody who had some rank in Trader Joe's. I think he was like an assistant store manager or something. And he was telling me that the biggest problem that they face is their supply chain is inconsistent. So a lot of the wildfires in California is having a deleterious effect on their ability to supply the goods at the price that they're supplying them. But yeah. My favorite thing to eat, I don't like to cook because I don't have the patience. But when I do have the patience, the one recipe that I got from my first like serious girlfriend, my fiance Nicole, um, she was a law professor and she was a trial lawyer for a short time, very Sarah Palin-esque. But she was a blonde, but her personality was very like West Coasty, Californian, Oregonian, very like hippie-ish, but she was a very conservative girl. But my favorite recipe that she made was chicken and red wine sauce. And I learned how to make chicken and red wine sauce when I was about 24 years old. And it's like a burgundy type recipe, like kind of a French tang to it, French or German. It's really freaking good. It takes like 3 hours to make. Now, aside from her wonderful company, the one thing I'm going to miss about Angie was her cooking. She was an amazing cook. And when she was nice to me, she was an amazing lover. And I'm going to miss that. You know, she found another dude who I guess right now he jibes better with the family dynamic. But let me ask you guys something. You guys are all, what, 30 to 60 crew? You guys have been around the block more than once. All right. With the 3 to 6 decades that you guys have of life experience, if you brought a spouse home to your parents at 30, 35 years old, and you really like that person, and your mom or dad said, get rid of them. Hey, I'm 30 years old. I'm financially self sufficient. I'm strong enough. I have my wits about me. I can take care of myself. Okay. I don't really give a shit what mom or dad thinks about my spousal choices or my lifestyle choices. How many of you would say that to your parents at 30, 35 years old? Me, I would in a heartbeat if I had to. Yeah. Believe me. Okay. Let me rephrase, Your Honor. I would not look for that conversation to occur. But if that conversation landed itself on my doorstep, I'd have no problem telling my mom or my dad to buzz off as far as my spousal choice was concerned. None. NJ Diver is a guy who I met him last year. I met him on October 18th, almost a year ago. And it was he was like Batman. He made like his guest appearance for the decade. He's a good guy. I like NJ Diver. He's an interesting fellow. A lot different than what I expected him. I expected him to be just from the online presence. I didn't think he'd be as mellow or as humble or as warm as he was. He's an extremely, extremely warm guy. I like NJ Diver a lot. And something tells me that if you were in a jam and you went to NJ Diver, he'd be able to give you some pretty good advice. Me, at least lately, I'll give you good advice, but it may not be practical. Because tonight's topic is time and how you spend your time. On Earth, I want to talk about in our lives the relationship between time and money, which shouldn't be there. It's something NJ Diver disdains paparazzi. You know what I disdain, NJ Diver? I disdain thinking about in our lives the correlation between time and how much money we have. I don't like it, but it's there. It's very real, and it's something that you have to think about. You can't ignore. I have a couple $1,000s in the bank, probably about five. Another couple thousand on the market. All right. By the time I'm done going through what I'm through, that money's going to be not gone. It's going to be diminished. Okay. And that's going to impede my ability to get where I want to go. I want, like I said, I want to live in southern New Jersey, preferably Smithville or Manahawkin. And I don't want to be single for the rest of my life. Okay. I found, people say there's a song too that says it. It's better to have loved and lost. I don't know if I buy that, folks. Did people miss TV before they had ever watched TV? No. No. They didn't. Okay. And, I mean, like I said last night, January 2019, I had gotten out of a long-term relationship with Amy that came to a screeching halt. Okay. Then sometime in, just killed him off. Sometime in December 2019, almost a year ago, I met Ange. And I promised myself no matter what. I'm going to show her every ounce of love that I humanly can. Okay. And I did that. And she still, mom didn't like me. And her 9-year-old, who was king of the castle, still is, said, Matt, Tim, we're going to yank you off the stage like they did in the old 30s movies with the characters with the cane. And here I am. Right here. And I don't know. The best advice that I think that I would give anybody when it comes to money right now, because I see you all are talking about money in the chat, is right now, believe it or not, is the time to get in the market. Okay. And I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $50. You start an Ameritrade account. You put the money in there. You learn a thing or two. You have an IQ over 80. You're not going to lose all your money. Okay. And you can make a good amount off it. You can put yourself in a good spot in life off of it. And at this point in time, I do it with two other guys. Oh no, it doesn't like that. No, I day trade with two other guys, and one of them is Pierce, who I've been enormously close to. Yeah, lately it's been testing our relationship, and because he has the same birthday as I do, except he's 3 years younger. But the difference is Pierce is truly a younger version of Matt Tim, the way I was 10, 12 years ago. He internalizes people's pain. He internalizes people's stress. And he can't necessarily isolate it. Or there's a way to isolate it without detaching yourself. And I've learned how to do that. And it's easier said than done. And it pains me to see him in pain, and it pains him to see me in pain. And it's beautiful in a way, but it's beautiful in a sad way that I don't want to think about. I'm done putting my stress on that kid. I love him too much. I'm ready to, though, move on in my life. I need to like I was telling you guys, go into the Ameritrade, but I need to be more aggressive with a lot of the trading that I'm doing. Anybody just starting off trading, I don't recommend it. Getting aggressive as heck and trying to make a 25% profit a day, because at that rate you'll lose all of your money. We have another kid, and he trades with us. He's 19. His name is Antonio. And I always liked Antonio, but me and him are both naturally suspicious of people. Like, we don't let people in easily. And in his case, we're just warming up to each other, and I think he's extremely talented. He's an extremely gifted day trader, which is funny because he's not academic, meaning that he's like I was when I was younger. He doesn't like to hit the books, and I didn't either in college. But he has more wisdom and more common sense than I've ever seen in a 19-year-old. And the way that he sells himself off, Antonio, is he's very, how do I phrase this? Very reserved. He doesn't have an egotistical bone in his body. And I love the hell out of him. He's a great kid, a great freaking kid. It's very difficult for me to have these types of talks that I'm having right now. But I'm having them right now because I'm going to give you a lay of the land, folks. Okay. I financially right now, I have a good job, but I'm not at the point where I could go out tomorrow and pay for a house in cash. Okay. What's tough is whenever you have a plan together, at least in my life, and you come close to reaching your goal or the finishing line, you get pushed back a little bit. And I'd like to be at that goal where I'd buy my own home. I pay for it in cash. And a year and a half from now, I can do that. 2 years from now, I can do that. But guess what, folks? It's still 2020, not 2022. All right. And I need to bear in mind that it's not going to happen overnight. I need to make plans for the here and now. And I see myself in an apartment, probably in South Jersey. That girl that I was telling you about, NJ, not NJ Diver, Green Leader, who was from Estelle Manor, her story was I dated her for like 3 or 4 years. She was a great human being, an amazing human being, wonderful woman, wonderful person. I shouldn't be in one of the names. But with me and her, the reason why we didn't evolve into something serious, why she wasn't a Nicole, an Amy, or an Angie, was because her lifestyle was very sedentary. Okay. She had a beautiful, beautiful apartment in Vineland, a 2-bedroom. It was nice. And she paid through the roof for it. I think it was at the time, and probably still is, the most expensive apartment complex in Vineland. And what used to suck is I'd go and visit her on these beautiful summer or fall days. And I'd be like, hey, listen, we're going to get the hell out of here. We're going to go to Atlantic City, or we'll go see a show at the Pittman Theater, maybe go see a movie. I want to be doing something. We'll go walk the boardwalk. And she's like, no, I'm happy to watch TV. Yeah, it's 85 degrees out. At the time, I'm 20-some years old. I'm not going to live a grandma and grandpa lifestyle. Not today, not tomorrow. I want to be active, but active doesn't mean constantly on the go either. But same token, my life without my post Angie life is really it's different. It's different. Happens a lot sooner than what I would have hoped or what I thought. But did I think it was going to be a forever thing? That's a question that I think subconsciously I've been going through in my head. And it's like a legal issue, the way I think about things. Did I think it was going to be a forever thing? Well, you had this on the one hand and you had that on the other. No. I thought it was going to be a long-term thing. Okay. Even 5, 6, 7 years down the road, things didn't pan out. I thought that we would have had those 5, 6, 7 years. Okay. And I thought that she was somebody that she wasn't. The one promise that I make you is I will never get into a relationship to end loneliness. I'm not going to do it today or tomorrow. It's just not something that I'm going to do. I'm going to get into a relationship simply because, or at least wholeheartedly, because that person fills my heart with joy on every level. And that's really the reason why you should get in a relationship. And she filled my heart with joy. Okay, yeah, there were arguments and there were turbulent times and things like that. But there was also a lot of really happy, good times. Times that I'll never get out of my head. Okay. But that's okay. That's what live and learn's all about, The other promise that I make myself is I'm not going to waste my time. That's Haley. Come over here, Peanut. Haley, you're going to be a YouTube star. Come over here. My little ninja. It's my sister. We're 22 years apart. She's 11. Or she's going now. Yeah. You know what I have to give her credit for? Haley's not a math person, meaning she's not very mathematically inclined. And I wasn't either at that age. When I was in college, I started really taking an interest in the math, so I pushed myself and I started to understand a lot of the stuff when I taught it to myself. But Haley's good for her age at being able to sit her butt in front of the computer and do the distant learning. She's very good with that. Extremely. You know? Let me check my Facebook messages, see if anybody messaged me on Facebook. Oh, I got a message on Facebook. Who's it from? Oh. It's from Pierce, my best friend. He already has. It's Sunday night, folks, okay? And he already has stock tips for me for tomorrow morning. I love this kid. And you know what? What I believe, and don't tell him this, I think that Pierce is trying to occupy me with the stock market because he knows damn well that I'm going through a tough time after the breakup and where I'm left in life. When you lose somebody, it's one thing. When you lose your home, when you lose the environment, the daily routine that you're used to, it's a whole nother thing. And that's where I'm at right now. You know?
You're supposed to have that.
What, Hill? Hi, Hill. Hey! Camera shy are we now? Hey, if she wants to joke, I can joke right back. I'm an equal opportunity jokester with young and old alike. Hill. But what's going on in your lives, folks? Okay. NJ Diver, you retire, or wait a minute. You at CHF. What's CHF? I feel really stupid asking that, but what is CHF? Chronic blank. I'm guessing. What is CHF? Hell, you're getting carried away. But congested. Oh my god, you look so healthy too. When I saw you, you didn't look like you had CHF. You looked good. You look very healthy and congestive heart failure. Wait a minute, is that reversible or that's completely non-reversible congestive heart failure? My mom's dad, who I'm not going to say I'm estranged with, because if I needed something, he would help me out, but who I can't really open up to. We don't have that type of relationship, and we probably never will. But in his case, he had a quadruple bypass surgery, and shit was 8 years ago, and he's doing good. But he's another one too. He's a couch potato, you know. Now that he's in the golden years of his life, he's taking up little hobbies here and there, but you know. Somebody has commented on my channel, so let me see what they wrote. I can't see what they wrote. Oh, it was YouTube. Oh, duh. Silly Matt Tim. I'm running out of things to say. If you couldn't have noticed. But I'm grateful to have the audience, and I want to hear about your lives. NJ Diver, congestive heart failure. You know, I don't believe when they say that things can only be cured one way or that they're uncurable. I don't necessarily buy it. You know, I don't necessarily buy what Big Pharma tells us. I think that holistic approaches like exercise and dietary change, and doing one or two things a day, whether it be green tea or meditation or a 2-mile walk in the morning, can really make the difference in your life. You know?
I only spanked you once, Al. Once. And you deserved it.
My hair's getting long.
You had your diaper on.
I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's very bespoken right now. Looks very academic. I look like a professor again. I don't feel like one. Oh, no. Holy smokes. So wait a minute. We're going to have a timeout here, folks. NJ Diver, you've had congestive heart failure for over 2 decades. Since Clinton was the president. So wait a minute. Your congestive heart failure has superseded, or not superseded, but has stood the test of time within 1, 2, 3, 4 presidential administrations? God bless you. I'll drink to that, even if it's just lemonade. You know, I need to start thinking about stuff like that. And I am appreciative to have the time that I have on this earth. I'm very, very appreciative for that time. And believe me, I'll never thumb my nose at God. I'll never do that. But I really wish that I had my partner back again. Me and Amy, you know, it was sad. We were together for 3.5 years, right? And a lot of it was long distance, which means we were counting on each other when we got home. And we'd Skype every night for 1, 2, 3 hours. But what was weird was when I came home, our conversations weren't the same as they were on Skype. Everything was money, here, now, this, that. And that'll destroy a relationship real quick. The one good thing is I would always cook for her. Always. And towards the end, my cooking was getting good. Our sex was horrible, but my cooking was getting good. It was just the opposite. Last time around, the Angie situation, our sex was pretty good. The cooking, her cooking was really good, not mine. But yeah, it's a live and learn type of life, folks. The one place that I would never want to live in the state of New Jersey, you could not pay me enough money to live there, would be Bergen County. Okay? I don't do good with fast pace. Okay? We diverge paths, me and fast pace. We don't do good. We don't mesh. It just doesn't work that way. And, you know, I'm at the point in my life where I got to put my own interest ahead of other people. I spent the last 9 months putting somebody's interest ahead of my own. Partly out of necessity, partly out of want. But I have to put my own interest first, at the front of the train. And I'm ready and prepared to do that. Move south. Get a low-stress job. Make enough money to support myself. Dabble in the market. Play golf 3 times a week. I'm ready to do that, folks. I'm ready to enjoy that type of lifestyle. Well, guys, it's 8:54. I've been on for almost an hour. I said 20 minutes. Deuces. Love you guys. I hope you guys have a great night.